Peace. Welcome to the Real HD Show, the place where you want to go for the good, the bad, the ugly of our people. And we heal it with what? We heal it with what? We heal it with what? Freedom music. Freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. You hit the link below. You join in to that soulful stuff that make you grin, that hip hop, that R&B, that jazz. We might even play some ragtime. We might play some, we might play some rock and roll. We might play some Scada. We might play some, some Afro beats. You know what I'm saying? We might play some Haitian music. We might do it all right here on the Real HD Show. I'm your host, Vic. You are tuned into another one. It's a hump day episode. Please like, share, and subscribe and turn on all your notifications so that every time we have a Real HD show, you can jump on in and have a higher discussion. That's right. That's what the title, the Real HD show, stands for, the higher discussion. Why? Because you hear a lot of things on these internet, social media streets. Let me put on my glasses before I go blind. You hear a lot of things on these internet, social media streets that are sensational, that are very unrelatable. And this is also your form for exploring with decorum the things that matter to us as a people. We are the Real HD Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all had a great day. I know mine was busy teaching, and now I'm back on with y'all to have a higher discussion. But before we go on, make sure you guys tune in to Total Package Energy. Support Total Package Energy. Go to their website, totalpackageenergy.com. Hit the link. Tell them that the Real HD Show sent you in the DMs and the message boards. And you too may even get a discount on gels, waters, teas, juices, everything to get that 3 to 5 o'clock crash off your back. So if you have a second half of your day, you have energy to do so. Redeem vacations. Make sure that you bring 5 people to the Real HD Show, courtesy of yourself, and you too can get a 4-day, 3-night stay somewhere in the continental United States, courtesy of the Real HD Show and Redeem Vacations. Also, where my kicks at? Where my kicks at? Where my kicks at? I should have it up here. Shout out to Be Healthy Fresh Foods, all over Rochester, delivering you healthy, fresh foods, smoothies, wraps, soups, delicious fruits, all the things that are going to make your life and liberty more healthy, make your family more healthy. They got about 3 to 4 locations scattered all throughout the city. My favorite one is the one on Jenny, and then the one downtown near the Sibley Building. If you're ever in the Rock, check out Be Healthy Fresh Foods. You know what I'm saying? I also want to celebrate someone that's near and dear, an associate producer to the Real HD Show. That's right, Jazzy. Jazzy is getting ready to have an opening of her own shop, and I want to celebrate. We want to celebrate that on the Real HD Show. Um, let's get Black Horse stuff up right now. And she has a brand new opening that's going to happen somewhere in mid-October. We want y'all all to get on and support Black Horse coming to you mid-October. Let me enlarge that just a little bit so y'all can see it. So they're going to have food and drinks. Come join us October 19th, 4 p.m. until. Go to theblackHouseRock.com. Celebrate that boutique. They're going to have artwork, books, food, that shea butter, those lotions, those good things that you need to take care of your body. They might even be selling them vitamins. They might give you everything you need to be the best that you can be. Go check out Black House if you're ever in the Rochester area. You know what I'm saying? And, we're here tonight for this right here. Let me pull it up. If you don't know, now you know episode. That's right. If you don't know, now you know episode. That means we will be giving you a sneak peek into some things, some factoids, some awareness, so you can move fearless right here on the Real HD Show. Please see the link on the bottom of the lower third of the screen and share it with everybody that's within the sound of our voice. We're rocking on 5 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Mob Crush, D Lab, Trovo Nation. We heavy on those channels. We're heavy in the thousands on those channels. We're pretty heavy on Twitch as well. Please support. Go to those channels and support. We are the Real HD Show. We're here for this tonight. So you're going to hear some things that you may know, you may not know. But guess what? You're finally going to be able to have a conversation about those things that otherwise you just have to listen to mass media, the mockingbird media about. So don't worry about word of mouth. Let your word of mouth be heard. It's your voice, your victory, right here on the Real HD Show. Hopefully everybody got their invite. I checked the link. I already saw somebody was trying to come on up, so y'all could come on up. The water is fine. We can get 10 people on the stage tonight, and we can all have an awareness, fearless party on the Real HD Show hump day. I got some things to show y'all. We got some things to talk about. And I want to get it going right here on the show. So again, we're here for, if you don't know, now you know episode on the Real HD Show. So that's going to kind of be wide open with the different topics that we get into. So we're probably going to be doing power to the people news, as it were. And I want you to be prepared for that. Glad my mic is working and everything is popping. Please come through, share each one, bring one. So you know how we usually do when we start the show. We jump right into our ancestors and elders blueprint. Why? Because we're standing on the shoulders of greatness and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. When all we got to do is look at the blueprint and remix it. All right, so here we go. We're going to jump on, and y'all let me know in the Real HD Show chat. I'll be checking it while the video's on. We're going to get into a video by a pioneer of our people. And he goes by the name of C.C. Spalding. And he did a lot to make sure that our people have what they need. He's a pioneer in a lot of firsts within the, American diaspora, as it was after the turn of the Civil War and Reconstruction, going into the early 20th century. And we're going to talk about C.C. Spalding right here on the Real HD Show. We got Elders and Ancestors Blueprint right here. Check it out. Fair use.
Tonight we're bringing the story of Charles Clinton Spalding. Born in Columbus County, North Carolina in August 1874, Charles Clinton Spalding, a future businessman and community leader, descended from a long-standing community of free Negro landholders in the area. A family oral tradition holds that his great-grandfather, an emancipated house servant from Wilmington, migrated west in the early 1800s to Columbus County, where he joined an insular community of free Negro Indian farmers. Both of his parents, Benjamin McIver and Margaret Moore Spalding, were third-generation members of this distinctive settlement. In 1894, Spalding left the family farm for Durham, where he finished high school and worked several odd jobs. In 1898, he became the manager of an all-black cooperative grocery store. His success at the co-op won him a managerial position in another black business, the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company. Founded in 1898, North Carolina Mutual was on the brink of failure when Spalding became general manager in 1900. By 1910, The company boasted of being the world's largest Negro business, and Spalding, along with two of the original founders, John Merrick and Dr. Aaron M. Moore, Spalding's uncle, were hailed in the Afro-American community as, quote, the triumvirate, the epitome of Booker T. Washington's black captains of industry. Durham in turn became known as the capital of the black middle class. In 1923, Spalding succeeded Moore as president of North Carolina Mutual, and from that time until his death, he enjoyed an international reputation as America's leading black businessman. He directed not only North Carolina Mutual, but also an extended family of financial institutions, including Mechanics and Farmers Bank, Bankers Fire Insurance Company, and Mutual Savings and Loan Association. Out of such business leadership, Spalding emerged as a patriarch of Black Durham, with social and political influences extending throughout the southern region and beyond. As trustee of the John F. Slater Fund, North Carolina College, Shaw University, and Howard University, he played a significant formal role in black higher education. Informally, he played a larger role functioning as a New South broker for philanthropy and employment in black institutions. A letter from him, as from Booker T. Washington a generation earlier, carried decisive influence. In politics and race, philanthropy and education, Spalding's formal actions often masked the underlying process of Negro politics in the New South. He spent his final years remaining active in the Baptist Church, accepting honors and giving speeches, his pioneering in black business long behind him, and his transitional role in Southern politics nearly completed. His three sons, Charles Clinton Jr., John and Booker, and his daughter Margaret, all children from his first marriage to Fannie Jones Spalding, resided in Durham. His first wife passed in 1919. His second wife, Charlotte Garner Spalding, survived until 1971. Charles Clinton Spalding's motto was, "Success is carved out by the chisel of efficiency, integrity, and hard work." Sadly, Charles Clinton Spalding transitioned in August 1952. He was truly a financial genius.
All right, so we are in the middle of an elders and ancestors blueprint, and that was a joint about C.C. Spalding, Charles Clinton Spalding, one of the financial pioneers that made uh, that made the beginnings of what Black America was great in America. And I know we did it on the show in times past, but I will redo it right now. I'll tell you some more about it right now. Over a period of time, um, from the ending of the Civil War to the Civil Rights era, there were over 60 thriving black towns, thriving financial centers, $1 million districts, townships, and cities throughout the United States that melanated people held in their possession and worked very, very hard to maintain your Robert Churches. And now you heard about C.C. Spalding, who was instrumental in creating a financial hub in North Carolina, and that may also link to the Wilmington, North Carolina, the very first Black Wall Street that popped off before the Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street that is, popped off in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So you can look that up. 1898, Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington, North Carolina was our very first Black Wall Street, or the very first millionaire township, city, what have you, that encompassed pioneers like Cece Spalding. And this has been another elders and ancestors blueprint. I believe that if he did it back then under harsher and crazier circumstances, we could do it right now. And that was our elders and ancestors blueprint. And if you didn't know, and if you don't know, now you
Now you
know.
know.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the
Yep.
name of the episode. That's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna pop a lot of this up throughout what we do on the show. Peace to Sister Aurora. I haven't seen you for a while.
Peace.
Welcome
Thank
back
you.
to the show. How you doing, sis? What's
Oh,
popping?
good, good. Thank you, thank you. I'm so sorry I
Yeah.
missed the other night. I really wanted to make it, but school is in full effect.
Nah,
Basketball
hey.
games. Your kid tells you to pick you up at a certain time, and then you're waiting in the car for about a half hour to 40 minutes. Okay.
Don't I know it?
Okay.
Football practices, dance recitals,
Oh
concerts.
my
I get it.
gosh.
I get it. I get it.
Just leaning back
But
that
you know,
seat
you got to
for the
give the
speech.
babies that enrichment so they know, so they got skills to move into the future with. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. And keep them busy. Utilizing your tax dollars in your school districts. They should participate in everything that's their way and make things that are not there.
Right.
Make
Right.
clubs for them. It's our tax dollars. Make them work for you.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta inform them of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My
Yeah.
daughter's down in Alabama going to school
Okay.
and
Oh, my
doing
daughter wants to go in Alabama.
yeah, she got a scholarship for a lot of money. So, you
Yeah.
know, she's going down there for theater arts and dancing. So, see, Trump
Hey, they'll
Trump
meet
is
next
coming
year.
down to Bama this weekend.
Oh Lord.
So everybody's on like high alert. You know,
Mhm.
everybody tried to get at this dude over the last couple of weeks, 3 different times.
So they say.
You know, that's crazy. So now everybody down there, my daughter just called me, hey, daddy, what should I do? And I
Okay.
said, hey, we paid tuition for you to go to school there. You are
Mhm.
working so hard. She had 3 tests in one day. If
Wow.
anybody knows what that's like on college
Oh,
campuses, that's
yeah.
murder on a kid,
Yes.
on their anxiety level and on everything they
Oh,
got going.
yes.
You know what I
They
mean?
gotta get
So
this one. They can't fail
yeah,
this.
she's not a freshman. She's a sophomore, so she's a little more used to it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still murder on the anxiety and the stress. You know what I'm saying? And then she
Yeah.
just wanted to, have a little weekend, kick back, do some different things with her homies.
Right.
And then here come this dude putting everybody on high alert. You know what I'm saying? I was like, baby, do something with your friends on your own. She
Mm-hmm.
got her little apartment now, so she could do some things. I was
Right.
like, invite some friends over, have a little get
Yeah.
together. One monkey don't stop no show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
what my
enjoy
folks in
enjoy
Unionville
your
did.
years, do what you gotta do, but be safe and be smart. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yes, they kind of all stayed at one house and in Uniondale, and they're like, "Look, we good right where we are.
Mm-hmm.
On your way in.
Mm-hmm.
Our house is up that way, but we can wait." you know,
Yeah, you know how it
they
is. So
all just stayed.
you trying to be supportive and trying to
Mhm.
give her some options so she could live her life a little bit. You know
Yep.
what I mean? The orange
Yep.
man shouldn't take everybody
Can't
liberties
stop.
from him.
Thank you. Can't stop no
He
stream.
already trying to do that with the Project 25 nonsense. He
Mm-hmm.
should don't give him no grace ahead of time. Like, come on. Yeah.
So,
So again, we're here tonight. For if you don't know, now you know, and we about to jump into a AAT report, healthy, wealthier, and wiser for a brand new you because we need cell power. Here's the intro. Hey, shout out to DJ Clean in the DMV area. That's one of my son's closest friends.
oh,
They are the music production unit that goes by the name of Dirty Clean. That's one of his tracks. Really, really good.
good, really
That's
good.
that's from a track called Slide. Really, really good. Coming to a streaming platform near you. Look out for that. But he let me use it for this particular segment. And this segment is going to be about fake seafood.
Oh Lord.
So often what we put in our bodies, they say we are what we eat, right? So we don't want to have seafood that is not, and of course everybody gets into the delicacy of seafood. They like them scrimps, They like them lobster tails. They like to go to. I know if you're in New York, you might go to City Island and get all that good seafood, or you might go to Brooklyn by the water and get all that good seafood.
Nathan's and grab some clams and oysters.
Yeah. So have Sister Aurora, have you ever heard this particular rumor where you're not supposed to eat seafood on the weekend?
I've never heard it on a weekend, but women aren't supposed to eat it when they're on that weekly.
Right, that thing too. That's that thing too. So they're saying you're not supposed to eat it on the weekend because they bring the catch in during the week. Mm-hmm. So if you're eating it on the weekend, you're eating something that was already out for quite a while. You know what I mean? Or them crabs is in that boiling water getting PTSD, and now that's on your plate. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we got a video we want to show you about fake seafood. Because the seafood, and then we're going to get into some other interesting things, so you can get that awareness, so you can move fearless right here on the Real HD show. Check out this video, fair use, fake seafood, and then we can talk about it on the other side. Please share the video, like, share, and subscribe.
Bluefin tuna can sell for millions at the Toyosu market auction in Japan. Because of this price, there's a bustling enterprise of fake bluefin tuna.
And one of the reasons for that is that it's so easy to get away with the crime.
Scallops, lobster, and red snapper are also commonly faked. One analysis found that nearly 40% of fish samples tested were mislabeled.
Seafood fraud is perhaps one of the most fraudulent items that consumers are coming into contact with regularly.
It could be a restaurant passing off a $3 piece of tilapia as $17 red snapper. But there are also entire criminal rings smuggling fish across the world.
1 out of 5 fish caught is caught illegally.
And with them, billions of pounds of other animals that weren't the targets. But stopping these bad actors is incredibly difficult. So how did counterfeit seafood become so widespread? And why is it so hard to catch the criminals? We'll start with a popular ingredient in sushi restaurants, imitation crab. It's often made of surimi, a seafood paste filled with ground-up whitefish, like threadfin bream or Alaska pollock. That's the same kind in McDonald's Filet-O-Fish or in fish sticks. In this factory in Dongjin, South Korea, a machine shreds the surimi blocks into the texture of dough. Workers dump in salt, starch, sugar, and crab flavoring, often made from crab stock. Then this machine rolls the mixture into a log. Food coloring made from tomato and paprika gives it the distinct orangey red look.
이렇게 대게를 이제 쪘을 때 저희가 다리살을 빼고 나면은 그 위에 있는 색상과 가장 유사한 색상을 내는 게 목적이죠.
This is a totally legal product, as long as it's labeled imitation crab meat. But what's illegal is trying to pass off this imitation stuff as the real thing. Like the UK restaurant chain Frankie and Benny's did. It admitted that more than half of its crab bruschetta was imitation crab. Suppliers have been caught trying to label cheaper crabs from Asia as expensive ones, like these Maryland blues. Fishermen trap real Maryland blue crabs off the east coast of the US.
Population levels have been declining because of environmental water quality issues, especially in Chesapeake Bay.
Max Valentine is a seafood fraud expert with the conservation nonprofit Oceana.
And so they are being sold for astronomical prices. There's a very limited supply of them right now.
Once this meat is picked out of the shell, it becomes lump crab. Those lumps are baked into things like crab cakes.
So once it's been processed, it's really hard for you to tell what it is you're getting.
Federal law enforcement busted a Virginia seafood supplier for labeling 400,000 pounds of imported lump crab as product of USA. A 2015 Oceana study found that nearly 40% of Maryland blue crab cakes sold across Washington, D.C. and Maryland were mislabeled. they didn't contain that species of crab at all.
It would turn out to be swimming crab from Southeast Asia, and it's incredibly cheaper.
We gave Max some lump crab to understand how we can tell it's legit.
What's really great here is that the company has put a lot of information on the back of the package. So it's telling us that it's wild caught. It's giving us the genus and species name. We're able to tell that this is a blue swimming crab from Indonesia.
But if your package doesn't have all that info, buy your Maryland blue crabs whole and alive and get them in season from April to December. Bluefin is the most expensive kind of tuna because it's the largest, high in fat, and so rare. They're found across the North Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In Japan, bluefin are sold at live auction here at Toyosu Market, the largest fish market in the world. Bidders like Takayuki Shinoda have about 15 minutes to check the fresh tuna for any nicks or scratches before the action starts.
基本は、皆さんやってる通りのことがあって、まず尾っぽ、尻尾の部分が切れてるので、そこの断面、あと腹ってお腹の部分がですね、裂いてあるので、そこを見て腹の内側の部分をですね。
With a ring of the bell, the auction is off.
今日のマグロの競りの価格は今日マグロ本体がですねそんなに大きくないんですよ。103キロっていうマグロだったんでトータル金額にすると、軽自動車ぐらいの価格ですね。
And as demand for this expensive fish has increased, so has its value. In 2019, a tuna set a record at Toyosu when it sold for $3.1 million.
それをここ数年でですねどんどん取っていってしまったらやっぱり数量は減ってしまうし
Pacific bluefin stocks are overfished, and the yellowfin population is headed toward collapse.
やっぱあんだけの魚魚体のものです。大きなものです。あそこに育つまでに何年もかかるわけです。ただ私がこれから10年後20年後30年後にその時にマグロがなくなってしまうんじゃないかな。
Overfishing and illegal activity are a major cause. In 2018, Spanish authorities uncovered a group that sold over $14 million worth of illegally fished tuna between Malta and Spain. Police arrested dozens.
The tuna fishery is especially difficult to manage because tuna are migratory in nature. And as a result, vessels targeting tuna are usually fishing across multiple jurisdictions.
But there's another type of fraud, fake tuna. That includes trying to sell escolar, a cheap fish that could have dangerous levels of mercury, as white tuna.
If you can be successful at that fraud, the returns are huge.
Oceana's 2013 study of fish DNA found that 59% of tuna samples at U.S. restaurants and grocery stores were mislabeled. So how can you make sure you're not getting robbed? If you're going for bluefin, maybe save it for a special occasion, because the real stuff is usually sold at high-end restaurants.
If you're seeing bluefin tuna at your local supermarket, I'd say that's probably fraudulent.
Grocery stores do sell yellowfin, but make sure to check the price.
This is incredibly low. For about $8, we would expect a tuna steak of this size to be quite a bit more expensive. Certainly over $15, closer to $20.
And then peruse that label for any red flags. This package says yellowfin on the outside, but just tuna on the inside.
And so that makes me concerned that this isn't, in fact, yellowfin tuna. It says that this is processed and packaged in Indonesia. And then this label is telling us that it's a product of Venezuela.
All right. So we're back. Real HD Show. Appreciate y'all being very, very congenial and listening to the video. I think that's very important. Why is it important? Because we are what we eat. And we work hard for the money, honey. And sometimes we think that we're going to go out and treat our loved one to something special, go get a seafood dinner, somewhere, or maybe you might even buy something out the grocery store that has a seafood, specialty. You know what I mean? And those things are expensive either way. And just to find out that those things are tainted or fake, or you eat it anyway because you paid so much money for it, and they the supermarket change with the hyperinflation and whatnot get over on the price gouging, right? We had a lot of politicians telling us recently that they're gonna take care of price gouging. We'll see if that's a thing or not. And then of course you take it home, you eat it, and like myself and Sister Aurora just said, you may even get sick. You might even get some sort of bad stomach thing because of it. And we just want you guys to be aware of what you're eating and how you're eating it. And sometimes when you eat things in ways that are not healthy for you, your body turns it into, fat, simple sugars and fats, and that increases the inflammation in the body. You know what I mean? Do you guys have any experience? Peace, Darius Fed. How you doing, bro? Glad you could jump on. And tell me if you guys have any experience with seafood or fake seafood, or seafood that you thought was one thing and you got it might be another. Maybe you got some cod and you opened it up and it smelled like tuna, or there's all type of tricks these proprietors are running, but we just gotta be vigilant. Go ahead, sis.
No, I had food poisoning from seafood. They opened up this seafood place in Levittown, and this was years back.
Right.
And my stomach really knows, if something's wrong, it's instant come up. But at this time, me and my friends, we all went new buffet, and I'm always saying, look, shouldn't we go to a buffet when it opens so we can be the first ones over the food? But no, it was dinner time.
Right.
And as I'm sitting up there now, I was gouging on oysters, and I love oysters, but raw oysters, and shrimp and things like that. And then when I went to get up, next thing I did was I woke up at National Medical Center. So what happened? They're like,
oh man,
a level of mercury poisoning.
Yep.
I was like, oh shoot. And I know I gouged those oysters and stuff there, but so you gotta really be careful, because it hurts like hell. If you never had food poisoning, it hurts.
Oh yeah.
It's not just like, oh my stomach. No.
Yeah, man. We moved to Maryland right around the year 2000. We spent about 6-7 years down there before we moved back to New York, and we did a little celebratory dinner. Me and the wifey. Kids was real small. Graham Dukes came down to watch the kids for us. We went out. I don't eat seafood. I'm allergic to it, but wifey indulged, and she got food poisoning.
Yeah.
And she was on the deck for weeks, not for weeks. It might have lasted about a week and change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was hard, man. It was hard. You got to go to work. Plus, you got to take care of wifey. You got to take care of the kids. We had family in town, and it was a wild thing to manage and put together.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, the price on the wallet, because everybody eats seafood. Everybody wants that delicacy of seafood. Yeah. Shout out to all my Bronx people that go to City Island and indulge. You know what I'm saying? That used to be the spot. Tito's. Shout out to Tito Puente's spot. That's the spot. If you're ever in City Island, you got to hit Tito's, or go to way toward the back end and get the fried fish. You know what I'm saying? Watch them while they fry it, though. Yo, when you see your nails, your nails clean. Peace of Darius Fred. Talk to us about seafood, man. Any run-ins with seafood, good, bad, or indifferent? Talk to us, bro.
So I'm similar to you. I don't indulge in the seafood like that. Once in a while, I'll have a whiting sandwich. But what turned me off to seafood, I had a similar situation to Aurora. I think when I was a kid, I had to be maybe 10 or 11. My mom, they used to go seafood fishing and all that, and she brought home some clams, and I tried them one time. It made me so sick, man. After that, I was throwing up all night. Never ate that stuff again. So that's my seafood story. I couldn't mess with it. My family is a big seafood, like they're fishermen in the South. So they have that in them, so I don't mess with it no more.
Yeah.
While I
That
get
hurt, boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That'll learn you.
yeah,
That's just how they say.
yeah.
Yeah, man. So there's another reason why seafood is probably not a good look, Chuck, because globally, it's in demand globally. It's in the black market in the Asian areas. They fish whale, they fish squid, they fish all types of shark. They contributing to, decreasing the amount of fish globally. That's causing all types of ecological issues with the water. And not to mention, of course, all the nanoplastics that exist because they dumping in the water and all of that. But what's even worse is I'm trying to get this picture up because I had it earlier and I wanted to show you guys. There's a slavery epidemic that's connected to fishery, and it's one of the major causes of global slavery. And they trick the fishermen into being a part of what they do as economic opportunities for work, opportunities for prosperity, and they have these people subjected to all kind of crazy, horrible working conditions. This is from a company called Stella Maris that is an advocate for all things maritime, all things economy, the global economy through the water. And this is a piece where they talk about how people out of Ghana and the diaspora as a whole. We're gonna get into the Caribbean in a minute, but they promised these men opportunities to come on these boats and fish. It's not too many women doing this, and then the men get on the boats, they fish. They have them working from sun up to sundown. They give them little time to eat, little water, and you can't drink the water at sea because it's all salt water. Quote, there was no drinking water on board and never enough food. They shouted racist abuse at us, and we worked so many hours, there was no time to even cook or wash. Isaac, which is the brother you're seeing here on the screen, was shamed and broken by the cruel treatment. I felt stripped of my dignity, and I couldn't bear it. So that's just one example that's one anecdotal example of how, and essentially they slaves. They don't get paid at all. They just work. They even hold them by gunpoint, as you saw in some of the in those clips that we were just looking at. They even hold them by gunpoint. Like one person, I remember this one clip. I didn't want to put it on the show because I didn't know if it was going to get flagged and get my show flagged for not, being proper on social media. But they held a gun to this one kid's head that was in the Philippines and made him work from 4 a.m. till 4 the very next morning. And if it didn't work, they was abusing you, beating you up. They would take knives and put cuts on you and throw salt water on you. You know what I mean? And if anybody had an open cut with some salt on it,
that hurts.
That's that shit. So here's a little look at what's going on globally with fishery as slavery. They do it in India, they do it in South Korea, they do it in the Philippines, they do it in Australia, and also, pardon if my joint is moving a little slow. It got a little hot earlier. I had to cool my computer off. And then let me see if this is the same one or a different one. Let's see. Is this a different one? I hope so. Nope, same one. Okay. Well, you can get an inference by what I just put on the screen about how global this is. But it's also in the Caribbean. It's in areas like Haiti. It's in areas like Guyana. It's in areas like, Jamaica and Cuba, where they just straight slave the people in order to have them, make the fish market viable and to respond to the demands of the fish market globally. So here's a map, and this is per capita per 1,000 people as it shows, and you'll see, you see Guyana in that deep red, right? So now you got 11,000 people in Guyana at the top of South America, right? who are enslaved, 12,000. So you got 9,000 to 19,000 people enslaved in Guyana. So you see Jamaica there, and you see Cuba, and you see all the Caribbean islands with those shades of red to orange. That just goes to show you how what the prevalences of modern day slavery do to fisheries.
Mhm.
So we got to be vigilant on how we support these things, whether we are for them or not for them. Especially given the inflation that they're trying to charge American folks for eating these delicacies. And now, what if they're fake delicacies?
Mhm.
What if the fish is fake, like you just saw in the video that we just watched? You know what I'm saying? And you paying high prices, super inflation, hyperinflation is what they call it, for fake fish pawned off as real fish just because it's on your supermarket in a fancy wrapping, and now you're caught up in that, and that also supports slavery, modern day slavery as it is. So it's not
Right.
Jim Crow on the plantation, it's not apartheid in South Africa, it's slavery on the high seas, maritime slavery. Um, so also there's something called a H2A program, and that's run by the Biden administration, where they bring there's demands by civil advocacy groups that when people come in from overseas and they come here looking for work or for citizenship or all of the above, they're often trapped into these work relationships that treat them like slaves. So if you guys want to check that out, this is from the UFW Foundation, and it's a demand that's currently going that the Biden administration investigate the H2A program put on by the BRT. The BRT is like this lobby group throughout Congress, consisting of your global Fortune 2000 companies like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, all your big brands. They're advocating for the people to be transported overseas here to work, low wage work, similar to Tyson Foods, and their conditions are akin to slave labor. Um, are y'all at all like hip to that? Y'all did the knowledge to that, or is this all brand new for my panel on tonight? And anybody at home, man, y'all can jump in the comments. We got a lot of people on Twitch. We got a lot of people on Instagram. Y'all jump in and let me know what y'all think about this fishery slavery that's going on globally. Y'all thoughts.
Well, it's
Well,
brand new to me. I didn't know that fishery led into slavery. I knew that there was some forms of modern slavery that still existed, especially like in the Middle East.
hmm
But I didn't know that it was connected in any way to fishery. So that's new.
Yeah. Go ahead, sis.
in many of the industries, how it connects is through child labor. Child labor still exists globally. Child labor we see is existed right here in the United States with people adopting our kids and putting them, slave, make them like slaves. So through that pipeline of child labor, you'll find that all industry has a component where child labor is being used to help produce or to manufacture whatever it is that is out there. So that's everything from food, clothing, pets, chickens, and it's just a great global concern when children go missing and no one's really, yet you have these big old farms in the middle being worked on by somebody, but nobody's checking. So that's where the pipeline around fishery and a lot of the global and United States awareness is coming from, is child labor and human trafficking.
Nah, you right on the money. I was gonna bring that up. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit, sis, because everybody considers sex trafficking the bigger human trafficking piece, but they trap the young men overseas in the Caribbean and in the Philippines and in a lot of the developing nations in Asia, and they just straight put them to work on these fishing boats.
Yep, 12
You know
years
what
a
I mean?
slave.
Yep. Year round. You know what's ill about this, bro? When we was at Hofstra, right? And I know you had moved off campus at that time with your family. but I was still on campus. Remember Gerald? They used to rock with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our boy, real cool. He put me onto an article about tuna fishing. And they was on campus and they was paying people like $40K for like a summer worth of work to go on these big rafts overseas and do tuna fishing. And he said he was going to do it. Because it was hard. You had to get out of school, you had to get work, you had to support your family, you had to do what you had to do. So he hit me off with the joint, and I was like, man, overseas, I gotta go all the way over there to make $40K. Like, that's wild. You're gonna be on a boat all day long, smell like fish. That's wild, dude. And he was, Gerald was with it. Gerald was excited. He was like, yo, Jay, you don't even know. Like, real animated. And I was like, nah, brother, do the science. Make sure you understand what you get yourself into before you jump on some boat. Now, if you do the knowledge too, that time period and what we're dealing with now, you finding out that a lot of them very same fishing institutions overseas had a lot of slavery with fishing, especially the tuna vessels. So, and I found out that was a real ill situation, and I was like, wow, that could have been me, because I thought about it. I was like, yo, that's a lot of money for just the summer. You know what I mean? And then they trap you in there, and now you on somebody's lifetime story. You know what I'm saying? You're in the middle of somebody's lifetime drama. Human trafficking on high seas. You know what I'm saying? And you in somebody's Channel 7 story. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyler Perry don't produce your joint. So
like Get Out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's wild. It's wild. So please, man, y'all be vigilant. Y'all look out for stuff like that. And again, that was part of our AAT Healthy, Wealthy, and Wiser report, because not only do we not want to be sick, and not only do we not want to be robbed by fishery, but we also want to not support fishery as slavery. And if you don't know, now you know. You know what I mean? In the words of the late great Christopher Wallace, that's kind of the theme of the show tonight. So we're gonna keep it moving, and we're gonna jump right into a Lit City report. What is the Lit City report? Well, the Lit City report is the wild, the wacky, the wonderful things that keep our world moving, because we deal with a lot of craziness on the show, the good, the bad, the ugly of our people. And we want to show some things that are a little bit broader and they give us a little bit of levity that keeps life worth living right here. And I'm going to show you a video about somebody, and it could have been our Stolen Legacy moment, but when I was a little kid playing for the Wakefield Blue Jays right behind Junior High School 142 in Sousa Park, he was one of my heroes. We used to collect baseball cards. So this cat that I'm going to show you as one of the Lit City report tonight is by Roberto Clemente. And he's going to talk about relations between blacks and Latinos right here on the Real HD show. Shout out to Jazzy, man. This is her video as associate producer. She contributed this, and I hope I find it fast. I don't want to have y'all waiting. All right, where you at, Roberto? My daddy name was Boto. If anybody ever seen Waterboy. Where's it at? Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Fair use. Roberto Clemente, Real HD show. Check it out.
And I'm between the walls. So anything that I do, first I will be reflected on me because I'm black, and second I will be reflected on me because I am Puerto Rican. But with this one I tell you that to me, I always respect everybody, and thanks to God, when I grew up, I was raised, and when my mother and father never told me to hate anyone, or they never told me to dislike anybody because of their race or color. We never talk about that. The matter of fact, I started listening to this stuff when I came to this state.
Okay, that's it. All right, cool. So that was Roberto Clemente, and he spoke a little bit about, you know, how he feels about being black and Puerto Rican at the same time. Not that there's really much of a difference if you do the knowledge to the deep history of it, but I'm glad I got an opportunity to show that. That was one of my heroes growing up. We used to collect them bubblegum baseball cards. You remember Sev, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did Roberto Clemente mean to you growing up? It was, for me, it was all about going to those Yankee games and seeing Reggie Jackson. That was another one, Reginald Martinez Jackson, and then you got Roberto Clemente, and those were our heroes, our Sandlot heroes. They motivated us to do what we did athletically, and it was something to look up to, man. You know, these dudes is famous. They getting a little bread. They international, and I just wanted to get you guys comments on what we think we are with relations between melanated folks that are from America and from Spanish speaking countries, and what we can do to be better. And does Roberto Clemente stand as an example of that? Y'all tell us what y'all think.
Well,
Anybody can jump in.
I'm gonna start off by going even further back before Roberto Clemente, because the Negro Leagues had an abundance of Cuban ball players in the Negro Leagues too. Who, even though they were Latino, they looked black, so they couldn't play in the major leagues.
Right.
So really, that Latino heritage state goes way back to the Negro Leagues. We got to start acknowledging that a little bit more, because that's a part of the history that people don't know. The connection between black and Latinos that people really don't know. But Roberto Clemente was a great player. He passed away, unfortunately, but he was, about his people, and he died helping others, right? So, that made him like a pillar in the community, one of the greatest ball players ever, man. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Even though we could go back, like I said, to the Negro Leagues, because of him, look at what baseball, Major League Baseball now is pretty much dominated by, Latin ball players from
Right.
Venezuela, and a number of different places. So they open doors, man. Those guys, we need to acknowledge them more.
Yeah, man, pioneers for sure. Sister Aurora, tell us, as a young lady growing up during that period when Roberto Clemente was doing his thing in the 70s, what did seeing, and baseball was very heavy back then. It's losing a little steam right now because of football and basketball being so heavily popularized. But seeing players like that, Reggie Jackson, all of those folks getting up there doing, whether they were Spanish speaking or not, what did that mean for you growing up and your, esteem, and seeing that you could do whatever you needed to do for your life because you see people that look like you doing it?
Well, not only people that look like me doing it, but people that have the same heritage like me doing it.
Yes.
My father is from South America. He's from Uruguay. And, this is how we get our roots. Long Spanish names that my brothers and sisters have. But, so anytime that, especially in America, you're only what they see. I know my dad we used to argue. I said, look, they only see me as black. Nobody's looking for anything else, and we're with family, everyone's speaking Spanish and things like that. And then, it bridged us together in Queens, every Cubano week, and you're out there dancing, and then in the Bronx. And then he played with the Brooklyn Dodgers League. My dad was born in 1914, so you understand he was an older man. But he played it with the Brooklyn Dodgers as one of the Negro Leagues. But the majority of them, what people don't know, were Latin. The locker room was speaking Spanish, but they all were looked at as our complexion,
Yeah, man. I could remember. I could remember when my son was learning how to play baseball, and he was like a first baseman, and he played in a Rochester league full of nothing but Spanish kids in there, nothing but Puerto Ricans and Dominicans in the league. And a lot of people looked at me like I was half crazy, and I was like, nah, bro, you know how much Spanish speaking people put it down for baseball? Why shouldn't my son play alongside from brothers and sisters who are dope with baseball, Spanish? I don't care about that. And he learned a lot, man, and he gained some friends, and he learned about baseball. He don't play it anymore, sadly. He went to college and played football, but at Delaware State. But
Okay.
You know, he learned a lot of lessons. We participated in a lot of Puerto Rican Day parades in Rochester because of it. And you know, that opened up his world to a lot of different things, and I appreciate that. That he had that experience to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So we in the middle of a um, lit city report, and we got one more joint. I'm gonna share my screen, and this comes to us by BlackNews.com. And Sister Aurora will probably really appreciate this, and it's something that all sisters should be aware of. uh, and that you can hopefully bring to your own daughters or to your own people. And it's way past bedtime for this to happen. And this is a positive way for folks to use technology outside of the sensational way that we do currently. And it's
Mm-hmm.
basically a webinar for postpartum mothers, um, postpartum traditions that save mothers. And you can find this on blacknews.com. It's getting ready to go down. This is an article as of September 25th, 2024. And it basically talks about uh, solutions to maternal morbidity. The webinar will dive into deep-rooted African American postpartum traditions that extend so far beyond conventional 6-week recovery period. According to Western medicine, it also explore these traditions extended into a full year postpartum recovery period for new mothers. It reduces maternal morbidities while nurturing both physical and emotional well-being as creating wellness. The PAAPC webinar provides a comprehensive overview of holistic postpartum practices, including preparation of nutritious foods, identifying signs of postpartum depression, and strengthening family bonds. Um, if you participate in the webinar, you'll learn African American traditions of caring for women in postpartum, the historical and cultural significance of African American postpartum traditions, like those that existed in the Gullah Islands and the Geechee way of life, strategies for supporting emotional and physical recovery after childbirth, the role of family and birth workers in enhancing mother and infant bonding and reducing postpartum, techniques for incorporating traditional postpartum practices such as belly binding. What's the name of it? Also, belly binding, beautiful rituals, and postpartum baths. Um, and they're gonna have postpartum doulas, uh, which are like midwives, but most people think they just need midwives for the birthing process and not the postpartum process. And now they're going to use technology in a really healthy way to help sisters cope with the postpartum issues, plural. And I think that's absolutely fire. I think that's absolutely dope. Even in a modernized day like today in an industrial nation such as ours, a lot of sisters still deal with a lot of postpartum issues that go unresolved. And of course, on the birthing table, a lot of sisters get ignored because of the stereotypes that Black women can endure pain during child labor. They get ignored. They don't get the depot shot or whatever. So talk to us, Sister Aurora. What do you think about this? Is this a great way to use technology to help sisters cope with postpartum? Because a lot of brothers don't know how to help sisters if they're going through something.
Yeah,
If your lady real
yeah.
after childbirth, good luck.
And it's not even that people don't know how to help them. Sisters, when you're going through postpartum, you don't actually know that you're going through postpartum. You just know something's wrong. And,
right.
Women who have had, I had as I call it, a magical rebirth. And I thank God that I didn't have to go through anything. And that was a lot of what I was bringing into it, and knowing how, people, grandmas, and when you say Geechee, my mother, South Carolina, from Dennis Island, she's from the Geechee Island, Gullah, and so everything was, oh, we could tell what baby, what you got carrying, what you carrying. Ooh, she's carrying up, she's carrying down, and just a lot of nesting began especially if you were around your grandparents and your mother or whatever, nesting began to a new, I never had that kind of feeling about cleaning a house or fixing up things or changing things than I had when I was pregnant. And, they would sit back and they're like, oh, there she go. That's that nesting, and so it was a nurturing experience. And having 4 other generations around when I became pregnant, that's a magical thing. Nothing is written down, nothing comes out of it. Everybody's passing on what they that girl got to sit this way and you got to sit that way, and make the water temperature this when you're going in the bathtub, and just a whole lot of things that they throw in. So it's really good that technology can capture that. It's not magic that they're capturing. They're capturing information like griots, about birthing and things. And a lot of women, though, when they are in those depressive areas, they actually don't even know it. It always takes somebody who knows them, like either the spouse or best friend, to sit there and say, "Hey, I need to bring you over here because you're not seeing, because you can't see it." And that's what people don't understand. Why didn't you go get help? The woman don't know that she need help. Hopefully that her partner or the family that's around her recognizes something's wrong, and then says, "Hey, let's go visit your doctor and let's talk about this," because they really don't see it. So I'm not gonna walk around and be like, "Oh, I'm got postpartum depression." That's not how it works, and that's why a lot of people don't understand. The woman that's going through it doesn't even know it. But the people around her should know it. And that's the ones who help get saved, because somebody around her, what's a spouse or family member, says, "Okay, girl, okay, let's go back to the doctor and have a little talk," because they can't see it. And a lot of people who don't go through it don't understand that.
Right. Doris Further, you and I both had kids. I have 3. I know you have your children too, and your children are grown. My children are grown. And I have a daughter, you have a daughter, and they're hitting that midway part of their lives where they might want to start having kids, you know what I'm saying? And I wish something like this was around for us when we was having babies, you know what I'm saying? So just in case our ladies in our life started acting one way or the other, we could understand the signs. We was on our own. You ain't know.
What were you taught? What were you taught when that was happening? Well, that's them pregnancy hormones.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, did you take your vitamins? And, your wife is like, yo, this beyond vitamins, B, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know, but now you got a webinar you could tap into, you can be educated, read the signs. How helpful do you think this would have been for us when we was going through our, first experience of having children? And then how helpful do you think this would be to our daughters as they approach motherhood? Talk to us, bro.
Yeah, I think it would be, it would have been excellent for us, especially we were young men, pretty much from a generation too where, our parents really didn't talk to us about these things either. They knew, but they didn't have like the scientific jargon or knowledge to kind of support their ideas about it. So, you didn't really know why, your mom might have had an attitude, quote unquote, like just
hormones.
Yeah,
baby hormones.
Like, yo, she going through her stuff, man. Let me just, go to my room or whatever. So you left.
Right. I'll be back, baby. I'm out.
Yeah. So, as you go on, you kind of, I know for me, like just speaking for me personally, I let, my wife deal with any situation, that had to deal with my daughter. They just, you kind of just hands off, you kind of laid back, you experience it, but you don't try to be, the psychologist in those times. It doesn't work.
No doubt. You try not to be in the way. Just don't be in the way.
But it's because you lack the knowledge, man. Especially, if you're a young dad, you just kind of going through the motions. You learning as you go. So that's how it worked out for me.
Yeah.
That's why it's good that they have a website, because even today, for husbands, brothers, they don't want to talk about that woman's time or the woman issue. They do like you just said. You just let me go in my room, get out the way. Okay, this too shall pass.
Right.
It's good that so women can sit there and start really looking on the internet, using streamers like that to really know what's going on, because women have told this, told the information that's being given out. We started sharing, and there was a time where you didn't share, but
Mm-hmm.
the technology is allowing us to share everything. Sometimes TMI, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad this is something that we can use to be progressive with instead of just being goofy with it online.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough goofy out there, you know what I mean? We got to do
Yeah,
something that actually helps folks. And I'm hoping that this could help the next generation, or at least the current people, deal with, their issues
absolutely.
as it pertains to postpartum issues.
And can I just add another point?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
As an educator, working in schools, especially, with teenage children, kids in the
Mm,
school who going through those teenage years,
yes.
having this type of knowledge and understanding it better, it helps you deal with like certain issues better, as opposed to like, let's say a girl is acting out and, just being disruptive or something, now you could say, well, she's not acting like this to act like this. This could be
Mm-hmm.
something that's biological, and maybe then can be, you know, the nurse, school psychologist, somebody like that can help them, as opposed to you got detention or you're suspended, or something along those lines. Because back in the days we might have not understood these type of things that are happening, or didn't have as much tolerance for them, even if we did understand it. So like kind of having this knowledge now helps educate us make better decisions on how to support young ladies who are dealing with these type of issues.
Yeah, man,
Absolutely.
and what's fly as a result of all of this are those old school Gullah Geechee old school practices that were centered around a lot of holistic healing and a lot of counseling and a lot of make awareness of what's going on with your body and your hormones and why you're doing this and why you're doing that. And you don't have to have big pharma in your insides after you have a baby. You can do some things that are a little bit more non-invasive for yourself, and be a better, be a little bit healthier, and just be aware. And who knows, Sister Aurora, if you had the knowledge back then of what you was going through, you might not be so cranky. You know what I'm saying? You might look at things a little differently. Like, yo, I'm all right with this because I heard what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm at step number 2. Step number
Yeah,
three, step number
you're in
3 and 4 is
advancement
coming,
world.
but that's what they said was gonna happen. And if I take this witch hazel and these herbs, I don't know. I'm talking stuff right now. I can't call it. I ain't never had no babies, but that's why I'm glad I got a wise sister like you on here to let you know. If you have more knowledge and information on this subject area,
Mhm.
having children, would it have helped? Would it have calmed you just
Oh,
a little bit more?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because then would know what was coming, or you would know, if you
Right.
didn't know what it was, you would know how to address it. It had a name by that time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
having one of those websites. I mean, we even do the mile step one, in a regular pregnancy. Now you wise men, it's a, oh, this is the milestone in my pregnancy. So it's using that 3 month, that's a milestone in this.
Exactly.
And then, and so that's how, like, I even learned how to not slice up life, but to know how that there are going to be different trends in life was through pregnancy. And I got pregnant in a later age.
Mm,
That's when my kids are still in high school. Like,
mm,
you know,
right.
but if I had, and it was the younger girls that was Cynthia. I'm like, they were like, oh, this gonna happen. This my fifth baby. I'm like, dang. But they were having, they started having babies in their 20s or right out of high school. And so those are the ones that I talked to, the younger ones that were just having, who I met at the clinics. Like, what's
Yeah,
going to happen? They'd be like, yeah. I'm like, what's going to happen?
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, so, and
yeah.
they were not shy about saying what was going to be, what your body was going to go through, what your mind was going to go through. So I appreciate the young girls that were there at the same women's center that I was when I first got pregnant. Because I
Yeah,
was in my late 30s and they were like coming 20s and on their second child or something. So
and also this could become industry for some people. How many how many spiritualists, have become, birthing doulas
Well,
who can further that line, and it doesn't just have to stop at birth. It could, they can continue their practice with that particular client that they had. And like a Queen of Four or a Queen Mother Moore or all those wise women that knew about how to, healthily repair the body and nurture the body, that this can be an enduring, field of, economic support for them. So I'm all for it. Let's take the mystery out of what's popping, and let's
that's it.
help the ladies get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. So that was the Lit City Report. The wacky, the wild, the wonderful things that make our world go round. I had two other more things that I wanted to get to, but we already at the 9 o'clock hour, and I wanted to get. Let me ask y'all a question, because I always get, Sev always sends me, clips and things to show. I wish I had time to do the science to that Egypt, the Kemet joint you sent me, bro, because that looked heavy. I would have definitely dealt with that tonight, but I didn't have the time to go through it and kind of add my own little spice to it. But is there anything on you guys' current event radar that you guys would like to talk about or deal with before we get into the, some of the other things that are going on in the show? Anything on your conscious radar that you guys want to express or make the people aware about?
Well,
Yeah,
from an education, and I'll just
definitely.
real quick, the superintendent of schools in New York City is resigning. At the end of December. That's a big thing. Pretty much, I guess he's been on the job for pretty much 3 years. I don't work in New York City anymore, but it's still a big thing. The largest school system in America. You know, the mayor's not done, so why are you leaving? But the mayor in New York City has been having a lot of trouble lately, with a lot of the people in his administration. So, this is another kind of black eye to his administration. It's just so much stuff going on, and you're hoping that you could impact education in a positive way, but yeah, you get hit with this negativity.
Yeah.
And now somebody who's trying to transform a whole system has to be replaced, and somebody with new ideas comes in, and you got to start all over from scratch. So the only people that suffer really are the kids.
Right. Right. Now, is this a forced resigning, or is this a resigning due to age, or is this like what's the circumstances? Because I haven't read on it yet.
So who he says that he's doing on his own, that he told the mayor sometime in August that he wanted to resign and leave, but where there's smoke there's fire. So
Correct.
the police commissioner resigned. Before him, the police commissioner, Keyshawn Sewell, the first female police commissioner in New York City history, right? She resigned. You have resignations from the MTA person. It's just so many people in the mayor's cabinet and a part of his administration that's just leaving. It makes you wonder, well, what's going on, right? The current police commissioner who just resigned, his brother was involved in some alleged illegal activity that forced the police commissioner to resign, and like they're all linked in some way or another. So when you have the feds, confiscating your cell phones, coming to your house, taking your computers, and this is happening to pretty much all of the mayor's people, you got to think that there's something deeper going on.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, sister.
No, I was glad that he mentioned that, because I was actually going to mention that, because earlier today, Mayor Adams sat there and announced the new superintendent. It's a female Latina, and I was like, dude, but you got people going to your people's house with that work for you, and going and with warrants and taking stuff out their house. You doing all this, and it's right, brother, right? They jumping ship because the ship is getting dirty and it's about to, sink. And they're like, no, look, I am involved in this, but when you got top ranking folks and all these other people getting raped by the feds because you work for this person, there's a little something going on. So Eric got to come clean and do something, because I was sad because I thought Superintendent Banks, I thought he did a great job and was doing a great job for a lot of the teachers there, in the school district and stuff. But he's a good guy, and so he probably like, look, I don't want no parts, no parts, So you're right. And it reminds me, and way before y'all was the little youngsters, but during the Donald Mattis and Koch era, it's like how they get
Oh,
number two and didn't get the number one person, and Donald Mattis is sitting up there commit suicide, because they done just took the stuff in his office. They didn't even get to the home yet, and that whole administration, everybody but Koch. I'm like, how'd you not get the head? But everybody but Koch fell. Everybody fell. So people ain't doing that no more. They ain't gonna wait till you get to even the board of ed person at that time. They went down. So
yeah, man. I remember the Koch era, and a series that they cut off that was really dope that showed a lot of it. And I think that's kind of why they shut it down. Nas produced a series on Netflix called The Get Down, and it was about the origins of hip hop, how hip hop started in the Bronx. They was talking about, I forget, I think the name of the crew was called the Get Busy Crew. It was fictitious, but it was a dope show. Go check that out. Part of the show was showing how the Italian mob was in on the joint with Koch, and they was doing a lot of underhanded, under the table mob deals, and with the burnt out
police fund and
with the burnt out buildings in the Bronx and in Brooklyn and Harlem and all that, and they was getting money under the table and for the construction contracts and all that. So check that out. So you right on point with that, Sister Aurora. That's a really dope one. I was a little boy back then, but we was little ones back then. But so we ain't know what was popping. But check that one out. To Get Down, that's worth a watch if you ain't see it. Really dope show. That show should have went on for like 5-7 years. You know what I mean? It should be a syndication. But check that one out. That was a really dope one, and it's great for Black and Spanish speaking people, and how showing the history of New York City between Black and Spanish speaking people, and how everybody wants to have this big argument about the origin of hip hop. Well, that show showed a lot of it, and there was really no difference between what Black folks was doing, what Spanish speaking and Latino folks was doing. We was all brothers on the street trying to get it. Beat Street did a really good job of showing that too.
Oh yeah, they did.
And it was like one hand washed the other. You know what I mean? I used to go to my man Ernesto's house, and his mom used to feed us after school. You know what I'm saying? It was like nice. Yeah, rice and beans. You know what I'm saying? Platanos. All that good stuff. That was dope. And I didn't get that at home. My grandmother made other stuff. You know what I mean? My grandmother was heavy on the curry. You know what I'm saying? So, how that go. All my Trini people know how that goes. So anyway, Seth brought up, the resignation of a top New York, administrative exec. There's another cat in the news. So let's just go to our Power to the People news. Hold on, let me get it up. Power to the People news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. So New York City's medical czar, somebody that was in the mayor's administration during the time of COVID, he was basically giving out the marching orders for the entire state as to how he was even informing Cuomo at the time as to how COVID would be handled, as to how this dude, former New York City COVID czar Jay Farmer, fired after news of pandemic sex parties surfaces. Now, I'm not trying to be sensational on a Wednesday. We can go there if you want to, but I'm bringing this back to the surface only because of this. A lot of people suffered back then. They had to take them shots. They lost jobs if they didn't want to take them shots. There was a lot of things popping. Civil service workers lost jobs. They came down with it. Some people died. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of turmoil during that era. And to know that this dude was partying in underground dungeons, or it was a bank, right? The way it goes is that it was banks, right? And it was banks that were no longer being used, right, throughout the city. And way down in the bottom basements of the banks, I won't say leagues underground, but feet underground sex parties popping off. And we had to blurt that out. We had to blurt that out because this might, we might have somebody with their kids popping into the frame on the show. But that was what the underground sex parties in New York looked like. And, he telling everybody to mask up and whoop-de-whoop and, do it by the book. And he said some shit like this. I needed to let off some steam. So while you at home with your mask on, breathing in carbon dioxide 80 hours a day, this dude in the bank having sex parties. Talk to us about those savage inequalities, man. And wasn't Boris Johnson doing the same thing in England? Right before he resigned? The prime minister in England? Y'all remember that?
But he was also doing crack. So.
Hold on, let me pull it up, man, because people be thinking I be BSing about these stories, man. Hold on. Boris Johnson parties during COVID, and then he resigned after that. Hold on. It called it Partygate. Hold on. Let me share my screen. I'll put it up for y'all so y'all can see it. I don't know if this matters to y'all, but this is just another example of kind of the savage inequalities that the regular people deal with while elites are out there, doing their thing and wilding out. Yeah, like they say in the hood, wilding. Why you wilding for? You know what I mean? We used to say 7:30 around the hood. You 7:30, dude. You know what I mean? So I said, Partygate was a political scandal in the United Kingdom about gatherings of government and Conservative Party staff during the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020, 2021, when the public health restrictions prohibited most gatherings. The scandal contributed to Boris Johnson's downfall as the prime minister and his resignation as MP of England. So what do y'all think about that happening in the middle of New York? Now, we always knew New York had their little dirt going in Manhattan. We always knew, that, if you got mixed up in the wrong person in the wrong parties, you might have to put on a mask and it might be some eyes wide shut stuff. You know what I mean? But what do y'all think about, some of the leaders that we declare city leaders, bending and breaking the rules whenever they find it necessary? What's your thoughts on that?
That's that white privilege. So that's all it is, there's a lot here. It is the person that's telling everybody, advising on COVID protocols, but yet he feels that it's good to be down underneath in a Foot Locker with no windows.
Right. Get the Febreze up in that piece.
Thank you. But it's crazy that the two brothers and sisters, they're gonna be down there but with masks on. Like,
oh, you saw the brother had the mask on, right? Let me put that shot up. Yeah, let me put that shot up again. So the brother had his mask on. He's like, I ain't stupid.
Me too. With the bandana. I was like, wait a minute, but the two people, they got the mask on. Okay.
Right.
In a bunker. So, that's their privilege, especially when it's audacity too, because when you have elected officials who go contrary to their positions, it's just audacity. They feel good. Look, at work I'm doing this, but now I'm here. No, you the drug czar. But yet on this side, you selling, you selling all kinds of stuff that you confiscated in the evidence locker. So
right.
So that's their audacity, that white privilege, and the audacity of some folks. They just think they can do that.
Go ahead, Sub. It looked like you wanted to say something. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say that the only people that's gonna suffer is them taxpayers, because there's gonna be plenty of lawsuits out there now, and they have a leg to stand on, because you know, you could make the argument that that stuff was just a lie. You know, it was fake. There was no truth behind it. You know, all the so-called conspiracy theories that are out there just got solid footing with this guy. You know, the story on this guy. So, you know, a lot of people you mentioned earlier, Adrian, that you know, people lost their jobs. You know, they got fired because they wouldn't take the shot and all this other stuff. You know, these people now they have claims, and you know, to get
Oh,
their,
they definitely should have.
yeah, get their jobs back and get back pay. Because look at what they lost because of what this guy said, and it turns out he was doing the things he was telling other people not to do and firing people, you know, for you know, which is spreading the virus. So, you know, it's gonna be a lot of heads rolling. And I don't know if you just heard, but maybe like 30 seconds ago, Mayor Adams just got indicted on a federal probe for corruption. That's
Oh
he's
wow.
yeah.
Wow. For real?
It's
Dag,
all coming
man.
full circle,
Dang
man. Look at that, you know, his
That was superintendent's class. She
his
got.
virus czar, you know,
Mhm.
his educational leader, his police commissioner. Now him, the feds raiding you. It's time to clean house in New York City, man.
Thank you.
They gotta get something different going on down there.
I know it. I know it. And didn't wasn't Kathy Hochul involved in something too? Her one of her agents was giving information to the Chinese on the low.
Yeah. Yep. I think that was a few months back, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She had to resign too. You know what I'm saying? Asian girl went to school in the United States, and she worked for the Kathy Hochul office, the governor's office, and she was caught. She was caught on some espionage stuff, and damn, New York, you ain't looking good, B. That's wow.
You
You ain't
know,
looking good.
and
But
you know what it is, man? Absolutely. I'm sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
With Mayor Adams and folks like Mayor Adams, it's just that all time absolute power corrupts. You know, it's because they don't know how to. You're supposed to be able to, in leadership, handle or no the move, but you in leadership, you are given that amount of extension to do and say for the betterment. But absolute power in some people's hands, it always corrupts. You know,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be levels, but they took away the levels of, you know, to help protect, and that's he just got caught up.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I got a solution to it all. Y'all ready? I'm gonna nominate Dr. Severin Cornelius for mayor of the city of New York. He gonna clean it all up.
That's it, man.
Walk softly, carry a big stick. Let's go, bro.
They might not like me, man. You know,
you got the credentialing, bro. You on your path, man.
But when they start digging, bro.
Yo, wasn't that you slap boxing at PS 111 when you was 13?
Come on, man.
That's what I said.
They'll go back to them hostage days, man.
Right.
You know, they'll be like, "Oh, you was in that lecture in 1997 with Dr. Berg.
They'll be like, "Yo, weren't you in that Skelly of Skelly in 1980?"
Yes, sir.
But you know what though, like to kind of build on that and what Aurora said, you know, you gotta lead with ethics and values, man. And
yes.
you know, if you don't have like a moral compass, man, when you in these public leadership positions, then all of your dirt is gonna come out. And what I'm thinking is like, you know, Mayor Adams pissed somebody off. So if you don't have an ethical or moral compass, you pissing people off, right? All of those things, people gonna start coming after you and targeting you. And you know, in America, they weaponize the legal system. So if they want any little thing, they'll get the feds on you, bust down your door, look at your computer, find something from 20 years ago that you thought you deleted.
Yeah, and that's
now you caught because the feds do not come and get you unless they have it. Mayor Adams been investigated for probably 3 years already.
I know the Biden administration was on his bumper too.
Yeah, because he was
Earlier last year or
pissing
something
off
like that.
those migrants. Remember, he was pissing
Yep.
off migrants. You
Yep.
know, getting on their case, arguing with them. So come on, man, and nobody's gonna protect you. They put him back in his place. That's what they did with this. Put him back in his place. He thought that he was the man. Some police car, you know, and people just went after him, man. He went after him. So you got to be careful, man, when you're in these leadership positions, and
Right.
you gotta walk a thin line. You gotta be smart with it. That's why we love Obama, man.
I'm telling you.
No skeletons in his closet, bro.
He said,
Well-
yes, I did roll it up and smoke it.
So, you know, we in overtime, man, and I just want to get to something real quick because I think it's important. You know, we still deal with a lot of dangers. There was a lot of things I wanted to get to. I never really get to half the stuff that I prepared for the show. We're still in the middle. If you don't know, now you know episode. Shout out to the late, great Frank White, popularly known as, that was his little MC tag. In Black Enterprise magazine, man, they did an expose on this right here. Black swimmer at Gettysburg College allegedly had the N-word carved into his body upon death.
What was this article?
Yeah, this is in Black Enterprise magazine. They talked about it. I'm trying to put it up right now so I could share my screen. And another, you know, wasted or useless death of a promising brother over, you know, discrimination, racial crap. And, you know, we're going to get into it a little bit. I'm going to read a little bit of the byline and then we can chop it up. And then we'll kind of shut down the show after this. So it says on September 18th, let me see if the picture's still up. So it says on September 18th, student newspaper from Gettysburg College broke the news a racial slur had been carved into the body of a swim team member at the social gathering using a plastic or ceramic tool, according to the Gettysburg Chief Communications Marketing Office. It says the college had received deep concern of a report of a racial slur being scratched onto a student using a plastic utensil. Come on, behave yourself. This internet don't want me to read the article. Come on now. Scroll down. Okay. So it says, according to
Use the box
scratching
stuff.
tool using a ceramic tool. This is a serious report which has been actively assessed through the student conduct process. At the point, student involved and not participating in swim team activities, so he may not have passed, but he was definitely violated. Given privacy laws and the outgoing nature of the student conduct process, we are unable to share further details. According to the editor's note, the school suspended both the alleged perpetrator of the incident and the victim. 2 days after the student newspaper broke the news, the victim families released a statement that included additional details, including their son had the N-word cut on his chest using a box cutter. Out of control, B. That'll get your ass whooped. That'll get you jumped for sure. That'll get you. That might, you know, them folks might get that steel out there for you around the way for that. But the reprehensible act was committed by a fellow student athlete, someone he considered a friend, someone he trusted. The student used the box cutter and etched the N-word across his chest. Okay. My astute panel, I want to talk to y'all. Everybody at home, y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. Another example of, you know, abuse, and, you know, like you said earlier, you know, some folks think they have the privilege to do this to our brothers and sisters nationwide, worldwide, and get away with it. Let me read the comment that's on the post. It says, racial slur on his chest. The two students was okay, so it's okay. Incident sparked outrage, promoting statements from both the college and the family, as well as calls for accountability from the public. What do y'all think of this, man? What's your first impressions of this? We all know it's heinous. We all know it shouldn't have happened, but you know, just
But
when you
here
think,
again,
just when you think we've grown as a nation, here
mm-hmm,
we go with shit like this. Then there was another cat that got hung about a week ago in another
right.
news report. What do y'all think?
Again, lynching is still running rampant in America. And, it's a shame when people want to send their kids to college and these things are happening. People are finding dead behind a bleacher and you don't know where the person was. Somebody had to close them bleachers. So,
Right.
things like that are happening not only, in the colleges and in the schools. I mean, go on, you got kid that was up in the opening area who was shot and killed, and they say it was by a cop, but they don't know who did it, and then they're trying to sit there and make this kid out to be a drug addict because they found a joint, had smoked joint in pockets. Fortunately, because I work in the college university areas, that's why I just went to my little folder. I'm like, oh my, you see a lot more that's happening on colleges and university campuses, not only in New York, but throughout, still to students of color. And so that's why they started Title VI, so that now everybody has to take that training who's in education and, have to become Islamic, because it's to help you with your Islamic phobias and Muslim phobias and, and what to do about these protests that are breaking out
Mm.
on campuses all over. The Columbia University president, she resigned. Behind her resignation came a lot of the other administrators walked as well. So it's happening everywhere. It's unfortunate, these families that he was taking off, the victim, you guys got a claim against Gettysburg. I don't know what their demographic is, but definitely have a claim against Gettysburg, and I'm glad he wasn't killed. But somebody must have did something to knock him out in order to carve something in his chest. Okay, they gave him, slipped him something, because that wouldn't have happened. That they wouldn't have been an even carve out. Okay, on a brother or a sister who was conscious. There would have been some defensive wounds, but
Mm.
care. So they're not even talking about how that happened. So somebody had to knock the brother out.
Mm.
So there's a lot to investigate there. There's a lot to investigate.
So,
I was gonna
sad.
say,
Oh, go ahead. Because I have a question after you make your statement. Go ahead, bro.
the first thing that popped into my head, and this is purely speculation. I have to do more research on. I'm thinking hazing. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm. Yep.
pledging, hazing.
The
Because
swim
how
team
else would
haze.
you be able
Yeah.
to do that to somebody, and that person let it happen? You know what I mean? Like
Right. That's why.
but not really fought back or anything like that. It just seems
Right.
as if like they just did it to him, and but that's what normally happens in these pledge processes with these hazings and these Greek fraternities. A lot of them, they hurt the individual, break his arm, break his leg, do something, and then next thing you know, they're going to the doctor, and then everybody's claiming that he was abused on the college campus. And in this case, since it's possibly, right, speculation, a white organization or fraternity that could possibly the president could be a part of, or other campus members could be a part of, right?
Right.
So they're trying to make it into something,
Cover it up.
right, to cover it up, to veer it away from the
Mhm.
fraternal organization. So I bet you if you dig deeper, you'll find something. Because like Aurora said earlier, no, you would have to really like hold somebody down, and
Really, like
it seems like difficult to kind of like do
it would have been like going like this, because I would have been,
yeah, it would have been
just
it's
struggling.
crazy, but to carve something in his chest,
Right.
it almost sounds like a little. It's deeper than that. So that's why pledging and hazing came to my mind first.
So
You're right about that.
we on the same wavelength, bro. Because I thought a little bit of that same thing, and I was saying how my daughter's at University of Alabama. Your daughter went to a PWI, and to fit in or to be amongst the in crowd, a lot of our folks will kind of play themselves a little bit to be in the in group or to be affiliated with something that they think is going to make them successful down the line, and then they endure this abuse in the present time to have that happen. You know, Sister Aurora, what do you think we could do to educate our young people so that when this stuff happens, they don't fall, or when they're presented in the onset of this stuff, they don't fall victim to it and act accordingly?
Well, a part of it is, I mean, we could tell them, and there are rules on college campuses and even now on high school campuses based on an NCJAA rules, because hazing is in there now. You can't haze for a team, but even when you tell them that, you can tell your kids everything they want to. The choice then ends up here. I want that Q Dog brand right here, brand me right here, or brand me with this here, or every getting tattoos. No, I want my A, whatever it is, your kids going to do. So we really just got to tell them to be careful. But when you mentioned it, would you stand there for a pledge to have somebody write nigger across your chest? I'm like, excuse
Wow.
me. That's like, even in pledging, so you would no.
But,
Well,
but it happens though.
They do, because they get branded. They stand there and get branded, right?
But people have been hurt and injured. You know what I mean? And like some of these organizations, man, they sell you. They sell you that if you're in it, we're gonna take you to, heaven, right? So people figure, a little pain and sacrifice is okay for what I'm gonna get, 5-10 years down the road. People mindset is different, man. You could be influenced in a lot of different ways to do a lot of different things. We see it,
Yo, he might have been the victim of a pledge kind of prank or a pledge initiation sort of thing. You know what I mean?
But still, again,
you know what I mean? Like they'll put somebody up. They'll put somebody up as an initiation tactic to do something racist to another kid. You know what I mean? Because I can't imagine that nobody would allow themselves to be subjected.
That's what I'm saying.
Just to be part of a fraternity. But then you know what? I know some people that did some real goofy stuff just to be part of
just to be part of something. That's right.
So like you said earlier, bro, where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's a lot more to this, and I'm looking forward to hearing what what reveals, man. And this is the Aquarius age. You ain't gonna hide nothing. It's gonna come out through the air. That boomerang, that karma coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be revealed. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can hide from it.
Yo, if it comes out that they was pledging, they heard it here first on your show, bro.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right here on the Real HD show. Let's go. Hey, man, listen. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the show, man. Make sure y'all turn in all your notifications and comment, timestamp on whatever part you liked of the show, man. You want a Doris Fat back? You want Sev back? You want Sister Aurora back? Brother Mozzie, Sister Jazzy, anybody that's regulars on the show, y'all want them back to give that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that they got as, professionals, sojourners in their path toward freedom, justice, and equality. Please tell us in the comments, man, and make sure you turn on all your notifications so the next time that we have a Real HD show, you too could join us and have a higher discussion. So for everybody on the panel tonight and everybody watching at home, say peace. Y'all walk with power. Y'all love on each other. And we will see y'all on Monday with another one. All right, y'all.
Yes, they say.
Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all.